So, how long has humankind been on the Earth? Molar! Give me a number.
How about a billion years?
Ooh, it's not quite a billion. It's a little smaller than that. Gentile, my true life friend.
True life friend, I have to go with 14.
14
years.
14 years. Just a little longer than that. I'm 20 years old myself. You know this. How many years has humankind been on the Earth?
2003.
Just a little longer than that, my friend. It's about 6 million, actually.
I knew that.
So how many years have we been producing art? Boa.
4,000.
Even longer than that. Katie.
10,000.
Even longer than that. Steve?
I was gonna say about 30 seconds.
Yeah. We started it.
Like
I got humor.
Hey, 50,000?
50,000! I think you're right! So, what was life like back then 50,000 years ago? We were hunting, gathering, and worshiping who? Goddesses.
Women.
And we know this because we have found statues of big busted and pregnant women. Literally thousands of these statues all over the earth. So why worship women? Well, they create life, so everything alive comes directly from a woman. Men seem expendable, and women sacred. These hunter-gatherers created life-giving technology, such as weaving, pottery, basket-making, architecture, and they did not create tools to kill each other. They maintained a small population that did virtually no harm to the environment. And they were around for about 5.99 million years. So they didn't do too badly. So when did this end for most of us? About 10,000 years ago. And what changed the world? Among other things, agriculture. Various peoples had tried it, but up to this point, no one thought that it was the only way to get things done, about 10,000 years ago. And by then, some of the goddess-worshipping cultures had become very sophisticated. You've heard of the Minoans, I hope? 3,000 to 1,500 BCE. They had constantly flushing toilets, equal housing for everyone, sophisticated art, architecture, and no war. They, like most of the rest of the goddess worshippers, were wiped out by people who liked war, and those people worshipped gods. Since then, we've had periods of weapons advancement, followed by periods of dark ages. The Mycenaeans wiped out the Minoans, and we lost the ability to write in a dark age that lasted until about 800 BCE. And that was when Homer reinvented language. Then in 600 BCE, the Greeks beat the Persians. They developed philosophy, history, physics, music, fine art, Greek tragedy, and a whole pantheon full of gods. The Greeks were beat by the Spartans. Spartans were beat by the Romans, who beat everybody in all of Europe. The Romans started making good roads and baths and got everybody together to create the Common Era, hence the BCE business. Then the Romans started to get the tar beat out of them, which was probably aided by the fact that they were drinking out of all this lead-based pottery. And a weird Jewish sect came and took over, and we became the Holy Roman Empire. And for the next 550 years, not a single permanent structure was built in all of Europe. Then, Charlemagne was crowned on Christmas Day 1000 CE. That is a date that you can put in your brain. He couldn't find very many books in Europe, and almost no one knew how to write. And I'm talking about handwriting, not rhetoric. And no one much cared except for him. So the Christians, that weird Jewish sect I was talking about a moment ago, went off on their crusades, a new version of war, to save the infidels from themselves, only to find out that they were smarter, cleaner, and better fed. And then they discovered that clever Muslims in Spain had preserved Aristotle. And they finally realized how stupid we had all become, so they started a new institution. Universities. They started doing science, building churches, writing books, and questioning. And that last bit, the questioning, turned out to be not such a good idea for religion. The Renaissance came along, and that's the rebirth of Greek ideas, followed by the Age of Enlightenment, when sarcastic fellows like Voltaire made fun of Christianity, and new scientists began kicking the earth out of the center of the universe. And then they got really wound up in the 19th century, and they kicked us out as God's top dogs and made us into featherless bipeds. Meanwhile, the other kind of cynics had discovered that being poor wouldn't necessarily guarantee you a pleasant afterlife. They wanted it here. So they invented money! Or at least the rampant pursuit of it. Forget the blessed or the poor stuff, show me the money! Thus the Reformation, capitalism, the Industrial Revolution, Silicon Valley, 14-foot TV screens, I-Ming! But then 4 years ago, Derek Miller started a theater in the basement of his house. 3 months ago, 4 pretentious fucks got together and started writing a show. And this is it! You're here like a bug!
And whoever wins it gets a bonus Thursday night on the